my Rebbetzin, my Hoshem Rebbetzin, and myself have given gladly all that we have to be a part of all of your lives. 2 years ago, from our humble beginning until today, what you see here today represents the wonder of the Jewish people. Every dinner, every banquet, every testimonial dinner has a list of speakers. And the one that's the most distinguished is the one that carries the title Principal Speaker. And a good friend, a banker, one time confided in me. He said, Rabbi, principle is something that's left after all interest is gone. The wonder of the Jewish people, from its miraculous birth to its resurrection after 1,000 deaths, time and again, according to the laws of history and logic, they should have perished. Time and again, a Kaddish was recited over them by Nebuchadnezzar, by the Crusades, by the Spanish Inquisition, by Titus, and then by Hitler. And they miraculously, they've risen to life again. What is the secret of Jewish survival? When we opened our doors 2 years ago, and like I mentioned, my Rebbe and I gave everything gladly that we had. It's because a voice spoke out and said that authentic Judaism is not for this day and age. Judaism must be streamlined. And the results were disastrous. Assimilation, the desecration of the holiest days of the year, Shabbos and Yom Tov, and the social columns in the papers and newspapers became the most dreaded next to obituaries. And they read that Mr. and Mrs. Robert Goldstein announced the marriage of their daughter Sarah to Mr. Patrick Jones. And all that we had, my Rebbe and I, we gave gladly to this battle. And then they turned to me, and they said, in this day and age, a rabbi with a beard, with payas, a rabbi with tzitzis, it's not for us. This is not for this time in this day and age of society. And they were ready to ride me out of town on a rail. And I told them I appreciate it, but if it wasn't for the honor of the thing, I would rather walk. And we rolled up our sleeves. And we began to work. And from all of our efforts, this is what you see here today. On our minds is a very dear friend of the community, Chaim Kalman Ben Frume Herbie Lifke. And every time I drive down the street, I stop for a minute. I said, let's call him in. We're looking for a telephone for Minchah. Then I realized, I forget that he was stricken with a heart attack and a stroke. And we all began praying and davening. We gave everything we had. And a young widow who cried her heart out that the Almighty should extend her husband's days on earth. She came to one of our great Torah leaders. And he said, Rebbe, she said, my stream of tears that I spilled out to rescue my husband, is it all in vain? He said to her, my dear young lady, when you leave this world and you come before the throne of glory, and the Almighty will show you all of those tears, how precious they were, like gems, like diamonds. He saved each one in a special treasury. And every time that there's a decree against his people, a nil decree, he takes out one of these tears and it wipes out this decree. Our dear Chaim Kalman Ben Frume was definitely healed by one of these tears. One of our great sages who left this world some 30 years ago, the Yaakov Kamenetsky, in the last few years of his life, 1980, despite his being very ill, he traveled to Eretz Yisrael. While there, his condition worsened. But he decided to remain until it improves. He refrained, because of a frailty in health, he refrained from delivering shiurim to all those that asked. But only one Beis Medrash in Eretz Yisrael did he speak. He was very concerned with the disunity among the Jews in our generation. And as he approached the microphone with tears in his eyes, he declared, my entire life, I wanted to greet Mashiach. But now I know that I will be denied that merit. I feel that I do not have much longer to be on this earth. But at least, if I won't be here to greet him, I want to be amongst those who I'm certain will greet him. And this Medrash, he said, I'm certain we'll greet him. What was so special about that Beis Medrash in Eretz Yisrael? Because it was famous for hosting Ashkenazic Jews, namely from Europe and Russia, from hosting Sephardic Jews from Spain, Turkey, North Africa. And in that Beis Medrash, there permeated an atmosphere of unity. And each one worked very hard. Each of the students worked very hard to welcome and make even those that have different cultures and different customs, to make them feel like they were from one family. That atmosphere, that environment will certainly bring Mashiach. In our Beis Medrash, Baruch Hashem, I can tell you that we have the same. We have all sorts. We have Yidden, entire Yidden, with a shtreimel, with white stockings. We have those that come in with a polo shirt with giants, but we have giants on it. We have those that come to it and they tell me, Rabbi, why do you have to print an invitation in Hebrew and English, print it only in Hebrew? We have those that on Simchas Torah, the Nikudim, the spirit of Simchas Torah went out to the Nikudim, went out in the street, and a gentleman walked in with a dungarees and a polo shirt. And he was caught up in the spirit of Simchas Torah. We gave him a hakol, he was dancing, and then he stopped for a minute. He said, I feel awkward. I want to apologize. In a holy place like this, and this holiday, I must come dressed differently. I told him, don't apologize. My goodness, this holiday is the Hashem B'Yaseh Zachayim. You came in your work clothes. Look at me. I also came in my work clothes. This is what our Beis Medrash is all about. What is the secret to Jewish eternity? The secret is a deathless fate. There were those who were being marched to the crematoriums, and on their lips was the beloved Ani Mani. That's how they went to their death. There was a Yid when Pesach in the concentration camp, when Pesach was close by, he did everything possible to at least have one matzah. And there were 800 people in the barrack. 800! With big Mesiras Nefesh and at the threat to others' lives, they delivered him a matzah. And he sat down late at night after all the guards disappeared. And he took that one matzah and he broke it into 800 pieces. And each one to give each one on Pesach night a piece of matzah. And as they were finishing that Seder, in walked a guard, a Nazi guard. Who organized all of this? Who dared defy our rules? And this Yid proudly stepped forward and he said, I am the one. He said, I'm not going to give you the pleasure of shooting you now. Tomorrow in broad daylight, with everyone present, this is where we're going to hang you. The next morning, they gathered all the inmates of the concentration camp and they put him on a stand, a stage erected with a gallows. And they said, we're going to hang you now. And he said, I have one request before you hang me. said, what is that exactly? I want to a few words, a prayer in front of this entire assembly. So, my dear brothers, I'm a Kohen. I'm going to leave this world. Yivarechecha Hashem b'yishmerecha. Yoy Hashem pano belecha v'chunecha. Yosef Alav Shol. And then he murdered him. It was all of this deathless faith, which is the miracle of Jewish survival. And that's what my Rebbetzin and I, for 40 years, put in here into this community. I want to thank each and every one of you who supported us, who were part of us, and will continue together to really beat Mashiach on it. Amen.